What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick, and on this channel I talk about cryptocurrency, decentralized finance, and economics. Today's video, we'll be taking a look at some yield farms on the Avalanche network. These will range from blue chips in terms of Avalanche all the way down to ultra micro cap, degen, 10,000% APR yield farms. Let's get into it. Before we look at the farms, just taking a quick look at the AVAX price, you can see that after its tremendous run up from below $20 all the way up to, wicking up to almost $60 near the all-time high, it corrected down to around 40, and then it seems to be consolidating in the 40s right now. If I hadn't bought in over here, I'd probably be looking at somewhere in the 40s as a price to buy in at. Not financial advice, of course, but that's what I would be doing if I hadn't already bought in. So let's get into it then. First farm we're going to look at is Pangolin Exchange. Pangolin, up until recently, it's been thought of as the YetiSwap of Avalanche. It was created as a proof of concept, and it has a lot of close ties with the Avalanche Foundation and the team over at Ava Labs. And it's basically a clone of YetiSwap if you look at the UI. So you can swap all your Avalanche tokens. I've had other videos about how to do this. And then if you go to the pool section, just like YetiSwap, you can add liquidity. You can go to charts, and this is where you would see the APR of the various pools on here. Let's see, we'll go to pairs. And if we look at the largest pairs, you can see that 10%, 60%, 60%. This is just the fees. You'd also get PNG rewards, so it would be a slightly better yield than this. But most of these are nothing to write home about, but this is a decent sized project, so it's a bit safer than some of the other ones we'll look at. That being said, PNG has definitely underperformed during Avalanche's run-up. Trader Joe, which we'll look at next, has actually overtaken it in terms of liquidity, possibly market cap now as well. And I think part of that is because the tokenomics for PNG, it doesn't really have any use right now. It's basically just a governance token, but there's not any single-sided staking. There's no opportunity to share protocol fees. Perhaps they're coming with that in the future. But I would be somewhat cautious with this one just because it hasn't really performed so far, like I said. That being said, there are some good pools on here that are relatively safe, and you even get some like TUNDRA that are getting some pretty nice yields. So that is Pangolin Exchange. Next up, we have most people's favorite, and that is Trader Joe. They kind of position themselves as the sushi swap of Avalanche, but they've actually overtaken Pangolin now in most metrics. Phenomenal memes. They've got this guy, kind of looks like Santa Claus, pixelated Joe. And yeah, so if you look at the farms on here, you can see we're getting some nice APRs. So Chi, the money market on Avalanche, and AVAX, you got 300%, AVAX DAI over 100%, Ethereum USDT 50%. So getting some really nice farms. Link, AVAX, two solid projects. Joe, that's the Trader Joe token, 350% with USDT. So this is where a lot of people are going to get their really juicy yields. And the cool thing with this is, they also have this staking feature. So you can stake your Joe, you receive X Joe, which I guess its mascot is a pig. And the cool thing is that for every transaction on Trader Joe, the protocol takes a portion of those fees, uses it to buy back Joe, and put it into the X Joe pool. So you can see right now, X Joe is equal to 1.09126 Joe. So if you put in your Joe, you'll get slightly fewer X Joe than you put in. However, because they're constantly adding Joe to the pool from fees, this number will actually go up over time. So this was 1.05 a few days ago, and presumably it will keep going up. as people trade on the platform. So when you return your XJoe to pull your Joe out, you'll be getting more Joe than you actually put in. So that's kind of an interesting way for you to share in the success of the protocol. And they're doing some innovative things on here, so I think this is a pretty good token to hold. They're adding lending soon. They also have this cool Zap feature. So rather than having to convert half of your tokens to another one to then deposit into a liquidity pool, here you can just take, say, one token, and then you can choose a liquidity pool, and it automatically converts half the token into the other, and then creates an LP token. So that's a pretty nice innovative feature, and hopefully the team comes out with more of this. So I don't own this one personally. Kind of kicking myself for that. I was more focused on some other projects that I'll talk about later, but probably a good buy. Next up, we have Avalaunch. So this is actually a launch pad on Avalanche, the premier launch pad, not actually affiliated with the Avalanche Foundation. However, Emin Gün, the founder of Avalanche, has tweeted about them and said that he thinks it's a great project. So they're legit. But in addition to being a launch pad, they actually have a farming app for their token. So this is just one pair, the XAVA AVAX LP. XAVA is the Avalaunch token. So APY is not insane right now. However, if you think this launchpad is going to be the launchpad on Avalanche and you believe in the Avalanche network, then you probably want to accumulate more XAVA. So I think this is a solid way to do that. And this is available on YieldYak too. So you can create your LPs here and then deposit them on YieldYak. So this one I'm a big fan of. This is probably one of my top 2 holdings in the Avalanche network. All right, so now let's start to get into some lower cap farms. These so far have been what I would consider to be blue chips on the Avalanche network. Next up, we have Pangolin Finance. So this project's been around for a while, since the spring. Some people might even consider this a blue chip, but I think it's probably not quite there yet. This one has so TVL 45 million, market cap right around there, 48 million. And so this one, it's not its own swap. Basically, it's just a pure yield farm play, essentially. So you can deposit PFI AVAX, Ethereum AVAX, and I believe these are all going to be PNG. So all these are going to be Pangolin LPs that you can deposit, and you can see they've got their PFI token paired with a lot of other ones, and they even have some like Ethereum AVAX that don't use their token. They've got a compounder section too, so you can auto compound your stuff. And then they've got their nest section, so here you would deposit your PFI and get XPFI, which you can use in various apps that supposedly they're building. So I would say my main concern with this is, so they've been around since the spring, and they've got Emperor, which if anyone's been able to play this, let me know. Every time I've checked, it always says that a new round will start soon. They've got this arena game supposedly coming soon. They did do a launchpad of one project, so hopefully they do some more of that. Sherpa. And then they've got collectibles. When you click on it, though, coming soon. So my concern with this is they've got a lot of games, NFT things that are coming soon. That seems to be the new trend with yield farms, is rather than just saying they're a yield farm, they also say that their token's going to have some sort of utility in games or NFTs, because that's kind of popular right now. But to me, right now, it's basically just a yield farm, and so there's no reason to think that the token won't get dumped over time like other farming tokens. So I would be very cautious with this one. They are audited, and they've been around since the spring, so I doubt they would rug. And I'll talk about that more later, but a lot of these projects have been around since before the May crash, and if they stayed around over the summer, then I don't think they're a scam. I don't think they're any sort of rug pull, but I'm waiting to see a bit more development of these games and NFTs before buying this one, because right now it's basically just a farming token. That being said, there are some nice are some nice yields. So maybe this appeals to you and you want to put some money in here. All right, now let's get into some really low cap ones. This project I love. This is Lydia Finance. So Lydia, I guess, was a country in ancient, what's now Turkey, Anatolia, and they had the first coins ever created. So their mascot's a lion, and then they've got some nice characters of these ancient Greek-looking fellows. And this one, so TVL, 13 million. I believe this is actually, I think, top 10. I'll check on Marker. I think this is a top 10 project on Avalanche in terms of TVL. But it's flying completely under the radar. No one talks about it. Market cap only 6 million. And they've got some cool things they're building. So yeah, so this is number 7. So really before the ones that you see everyone talking about, Lydia is the top. And so they have their own exchange, so you can actually swap directly on here. And this exchange probably has the best liquidity for their LYD, LID token. They have LidGate, which I'm not going to click on because it will switch networks, but that's actually their bridge to Binance Smart Chain. They have a lottery. So they have a lottery, sort of like PancakeSwap, excuse me. They have a launch pad coming soon, and then they've got some pretty nice farms. So you can see here we're looking at 300%, 1,500%, over 200%. So some pretty nice APRs on all of these things. Big fan of this one. They've also got their Electrum pools. So this is where you would do single-sided staking of Lydia. You can see I've got a bit in here. APR 115%, so nothing to write home about in terms of DeFi, but pretty nice for single-sided staking if you think that the platform is going to get some attention. And yeah, the price right now is about 5 cents. It's come up a bit. It was around 1 cent before everything took off, maybe a bit under, and then it ran up to 7 cents and corrected. But this was actually, if I recall, you can't find charts on these coins because they're too small. But as I recall, this was in the 20s before the May crash. It was about 20 cents. So still quite a bit below all-time high. And what's really impressed me about this one is over the summer when a lot of people thought we were going into a bear market, when there wasn't really any attention on Avalanche at all, they continued building. They built this bridge. They built their Electrum pools. They built the lottery. And they built the Maximus farm, which I haven't talked about yet, but that's basically just an auto compounder. So this project I like. As you saw, I put a bit in here. I think this is a solid small cap play. You're not going to get those insane 10,000% APRs, but I could see this popping if the ecosystem does well. We'll see. Next up, we have YetiSwap. So YetiSwap is a combination swap NFT marketplace play. This one's a very low cap. Let's see if we can see on Marker. You know what, so they don't have market cap on here, but this is even smaller than Lydia. I want to say this is maybe 1 to 2 million market cap. If you're going to buy this token, you basically have to do it on YetiSwap. There's no liquidity at all, almost no liquidity at all in Pangolin, so you really have to buy it on YetiSwap. They have their NFT marketplace, which is, I guess, not developed yet, but if you go check out their Twitter, they're partnered with a few of the larger NFT projects that are launching on Avalanche, so could be a good low cap play. And if you look at their APRs, their pools for YetiSwap and AVAX have pretty solid APY. Yeah, you can see 1 year fees over liquidity, 9,000%. Tough to complain about that, especially if you think it's a project that you want to hold anyways. I have about half of mine in the pool, half of it just holding it because if this takes off, it's around 9 cents right now. It could 7 cents right now, so it's around 7 cents. If this takes off, it could easily run up to 50 cents, $1. Not a price prediction, but that's just how these things go, and I don't want to get totally killed by impermanent loss. So that's YetiSwap. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about YetiSwap is if you recall on Binance Smart Chain, everyone talks about PancakeSwap, but BakerySwap actually did more, had more gains than PancakeSwap, both in the initial run-up and then in the secondary run-up a few months later. And that was in large part due to the fact that BakerySwap was both a swap and an NFT marketplace. So I think the fact that YetiSwap is, assuming they finish this, also a NFT marketplace, means that it has a lot of potential to pop off. So, like this project, again, invest with caution with things this small because they could go away at any time. But I like this project personally. Finally, we have the completely degen pool of the day, and that is Frost Finance. So, Frost is just the sort of insane APR yield farm you look for when you're looking for yield farms to ape into. So here, TUNDRA USDT, 31,000% APR. So that is just crazy, and 27,000%. Even on tokens that don't use their native token, so PNG AVAX, you can get 1,300%. So I would invest very cautious on this one. It was tempting to just put in a huge stack of PNG AVAX or Ethereum AVAX and get it's almost 2% APR a day. But a project like this, remember, can go away at any time. So, I mean, literally go away. You go to the website and the website's just disabled. So I would invest with caution. But if you're looking for these insane APRs, this is your place. They even have single-sided staking, so you can stake just AVAX and earn 600%, just their TUNDRA token and earn over 13,000%. This is actually the only farm on here I'm using right now. And the price on this has just been probably the most insane price chart I've ever seen. Certainly up there. So let's zoom out a bit. So you can see it went from 1,000 up to 9,000, back down to 2,000, up to 7,000, down to 2,000, up to 9,000, down to 1,600, and then now it's around 3,000 something. So we'll see if this trend repeats. I hope it does. But yeah, this has just been an insane ride on this farm. However, with those sorts of APRs, if it can just hold its price for a few days, then it doesn't take much for you to make your money. I think with this, you're looking at not compounded, if you're not compounding at all, doubling after maybe 3 days. Just doing the math in my head real quick. So pretty nice. And like I said, you could even stake just your AVAX and get almost 2% a day. Again, do that with caution because I'd hate for anyone to see this video, stake their AVAX, and then the farm gets rug pulled and you lose your AVAX. So I would be cautious with this one. But if you're looking for crazy yields, this is your farm. And again, they're claiming they have some sort of NFT thing coming soon. Perhaps they will, but I would treat this as a yield farm for now. So that is all for today. Those are some yield farms on Avalanche, ranging from safe to more risky. Let me know what you think about this video. Do you like this format of just going through a bunch of different yield farms on a network? Are there any other networks besides Avalanche you want me to focus on? Right now on this channel, I'm focused on Terra and Avalanche, but if there's any other ones you want me to check out or any sort of instructional videos, feel free to drop a comment below. That's all for today. Until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.